The forest is burning, and Lyria is running for her life. Not running like someone chasing freedom. Running like someone who knows that if she slows down, even for a breath, she will die. Fire cracks through the trees behind her, sharp and hungry. Smoke claws at her lungs, thick and bitter, making every breath hurt. Ash falls from the sky like black snow, sticking to her hair, her lashes, her skin. The night should have been dark and quiet, but instead it screams. Branches snapping, wolves howling, flames roaring like they've been waiting for her. Her cloak is torn, hanging from her shoulders in useless strips. Blood coats her palms, warm and slick, from branches she didn't dodge fast enough. Every step sends pain shooting up her legs, but she doesn't stop. She can't. Because she knows who's chasing her. Her pack. The same wolves she fed. Protected. Bled for. They called her a traitor. A curse. A danger that needed to be erased before sunrise. Her chest tightens as a sob tries to break free, but she swallows it down. Crying wastes air. Fear wastes time. And she has already lost too much of both. Her foot slips on damp earth, and she barely catches herself before falling face first into the dirt. Her heart slams against her ribs, so loud she's sure they can hear it. She presses her hand to her chest, trying to quiet it, trying to disappear into the smoke and shadows. That's when she feels it. A warmth. Deep inside her. Faint, but alive. A golden flicker stirs beneath her ribs, like an ember buried under ash. It pulses once. Twice. Weak. Unsteady. Untamed. Lyria gasps, fear flooding her veins faster than hope ever could. She knows that feeling. She's felt it before, every time something terrible followed. No, she whispers, voice shaking. Not now, please, not yet. The flame sputters, answering her fear instead of her need. Then the ground shakes. A heavy impact slams into the earth behind her. Branches explode outward. The scent hits her next, powerful, wild, unmistakably alpha. Lyria doesn't have time to turn before something massive crashes through the smoke. She's thrown forward, hitting the ground hard. Dirt fills her mouth. Her hands scrape against stone as she crawls, desperate, scrambling like prey that knows it's already been marked. Behind her, a low growl rumbles through the firelit forest. Not angry. Not cruel. Focused. And somehow, familiar. If you love shifter romance stories that pull at your soul, subscribe to Moonlight Mate Stories. Because here, every tale burns beneath the moon. Heavy footsteps cut through the smoke. Not rushed. Not careless. Measured. Certain. Lyria's breath stutters as the sound grows closer, each step pressing into the earth with a weight that makes her chest tighten. The flames around her bend and snap, reacting to something far more dangerous than fire. She pushes herself up, legs trembling, instinct screaming at her to run, but her body hesitates, caught between terror and something she doesn't understand. The smoke parts. He emerges from it like the night itself, massive, broad-shouldered, his fur black as wet obsidian. He shifts mid-stride, bones rolling, form tightening, until a man stands where the wolf had been. Bare skin streaked with soot. Muscles coiled with restrained force. Gold eyes locked on her like he's been searching for her across lifetimes. Lyria, he says. Not shouted. Not demanded. Spoken softly, as if saying her name too loudly might shatter her. Her heart slams hard enough to hurt. No one has said her name like that in years. Not with recognition. Not with relief. We finally found you. The words send ice through her veins. Found her. Her hands curl into fists. Every instinct she has learned the hard way tells her this is not salvation. This is another cage wearing a different face. She stumbles backward, shaking her head, eyes darting for an escape that no longer exists. Fire blocks one path. Smoke the other. And him, standing exactly where freedom should be. No, she breathes, voice raw. Stay back. She turns and bolts. She barely makes it 3 steps before he moves. Not fast like an attack. Fast like inevitability. He appears in front of her, blocking her path with terrifying ease. She cries out and swings blindly, claws flashing in panic, striking where his throat should be. He doesn't retaliate. He doesn't even flinch. He catches her wrist. Gently. The touch is warm. Solid. Real. It stops her like a whispered truth she isn't ready to hear. She freezes, chest heaving, eyes locked on his hand around her arm, not restraining, not painful, just steady. Easy, he murmurs. I won't hurt you. She laughs, sharp and broken. That's what they all say. But then his scent reaches her. Rain-soaked earth. Pine needles crushed underfoot. Smoke carried by wind after a long storm. And beneath it, something older. Familiar. A memory she can't place but feels in her bones. Her breath catches against her will. Her pulse stutters, then shifts, drawn toward him like something inside her recognizes him before her mind can. Confusion floods her fear. His grip loosens immediately, as if he feels her reaction and steps back on instinct alone. His gaze softens, gold dimming with something dangerously close to concern. You don't remember me, he says quietly. Not a question. A realization. Lyria swallows hard, throat burning. She doesn't answer, because the truth terrifies her more than the fire ever could. Some part of her wants to trust him. And that is the most dangerous feeling of all. The forest around them fades, not because it disappears, but because Lyria's mind pulls her somewhere deeper. Somewhere quieter. Somewhere that still hurts. She is 19 again. Too thin. Too quiet. Standing in the center of the packed clearing while elders avert their eyes and whispers cut sharper than claws. They don't shout. They don't need to. Disappointment hangs heavier than anger ever could. An Omega who cannot shift on command. An Omega whose womb has already been judged empty. Barren. Useless. She remembers the cold in her chest more than the words. You are a weakness, they tell her. You will never be chosen. She leaves that night with nothing but torn boots and a hollow ache she doesn't know how to name. She walks until her feet bleed, until rejection becomes a rhythm she can survive. That is when she hears them, thin, broken cries carried on the wind. 3 pups. Too small to be alone. Fur matted with mud. Eyes dull with hunger and fear. Someone left them to die, and the world expected her to walk away. Omegas were not meant to carry burdens. Omegas were meant to endure them quietly. She doesn't listen. She gathers them against her chest, shaking, terrified, and chooses them anyway. Kai first, fierce even then, growling through weakness. Ronan, silent and watchful, eyes too old for his tiny body. Sylas, clinging to her shirt like she is the last solid thing in a world that keeps falling apart. She feeds them before herself. Shields them with her body when storms come. Teaches them kindness in a world that gave her none. She tells them stories at night about strength that isn't loud and love that doesn't leave. For 10 years, they are her reason. Then one morning, a higher-ranked pack arrives. They speak of destiny. Of training. Of power she cannot offer. They promise to return them stronger. Safer. Alive. Lyria sees the hunger in her boys' eyes, the need to become more than survivors, and she lets them go because loving them means not caging them. That is the last day she sees them. No messages. No tracks. No mercy. Back in the burning forest, Lyria's chest tightens as the memories release her. She lowers her gaze, shame pressing in like a familiar weight. Loving has cost her everything she ever held close. She looks at the Alpha again, fear threading through her voice. I don't protect people, she says quietly. Everyone I love disappears. What she doesn't say is worse. She doesn't believe she deserves redemption. And somewhere deep inside, the golden flame flickers again, waiting for her to stop running from who she truly is. The alpha does not rush her. He turns and walks, trusting she will follow, and something in that quiet certainty steadies her shaking steps. The forest thins as if bowing out of the way. Moonlight thickens, turns silver and alive, and the air grows older with every breath she takes. They reach the grove without a sound announcing it. One moment there are trees. The next, there is stone. An arch rises from the earth, ancient and scarred, its surface carved with symbols that seem to breathe. The markings glow when Lyria draws closer, light pulsing in time with her heart. The ground hums beneath her boots. Not loud. Not violent. A recognition. She stops. Fear roots her in place. This is not meant for her. She knows that with a certainty born from years of being overlooked. Sacred places belong to heroes, to alphas, to wolves who were chosen. Not to rejected omegas who learn to survive by becoming small. The stone answers her doubt anyway. Words ignite across the arch, not carved but awakened, their meaning pressing into her bones. The mother of lost wolves shall rise in her darkest hour. From her kindness, 3 kings will be born. Her heart will crown them. Her love will save them. And they shall save her in return. Lyria staggers back as if struck. Her breath shatters. The light feels too close, too intimate, like hands reaching into places she keeps locked. Her first instinct is denial. Sharp. Desperate. No, she whispers, voice breaking. You're wrong. She laughs once, brittle and hollow. A sound that carries years of being told she was nothing special. A mistake. A woman whose body failed at the one thing the world said mattered. A mother? The word tastes like a wound. I couldn't even. Her voice dies. Shame floods in, hot and suffocating. Ordinary. That is what she has always been. Less than. A survivor, not a savior. She shakes her head, backing away from the glowing truth as if distance might unwrite it. I am not a prophecy, she says. I am a failure who loved too much. The alpha steps closer, careful, as if approaching a skittish animal. His expression has changed. The hard edges are gone. What remains is something raw. Protective. Pained. He does not touch her. He does not contradict her with force. He simply looks at her the way no one ever has, as if she is already enough. The grove responds to that gaze. The symbols flare brighter, answering something old and patient inside her. The golden flame stirs, no longer flickering, but stretching, testing the limits of her fear. Destiny does not ask her permission. It waits. And for the first time, Lyria understands the true cost of running. The grove does not get a chance to fall silent. The first arrow slices through the light and shatters against stone. The alpha reacts before the sound finishes echoing. Bone snaps. Flesh surges. He shifts in one violent motion, his body expanding into something massive and lethal, black fur bristling as he places himself between Lyria and the trees. The ground trembles beneath his weight. A warning growl rolls from his chest, low and thunderous, vibrating through her ribs. Shadows pour from the forest. Dark shifters. Twisted, hungry, eyes glowing wrong, circle them with practiced ease. Their movements are sharp, coordinated. This is not a chance encounter. This is a hunt. Lyria's pulse slams against her throat. Instinct screams at her to run, but her feet refuse to move. She raises her hands, desperate, reaching inward for the golden flame she felt moments ago. It answers, then slips. Power flares too fast, too wild, a burst of heat that scorches the air before collapsing in on itself. Pain flashes through her veins. The flame recoils, untrained and frightened, leaving her shaking and empty. The alpha roars and lunges. He tears through the first attacker with brutal precision, claws and fangs a blur of motion. Bodies hit the ground hard. Blood steams in the moonlight. Still they come. Then another presence cuts through the chaos. Boots strike stone. Steel sings. Council warriors step from the shadows, cloaked in authority and cold judgment. Their eyes lock on Lyria, not with fear, but certainty. There she is, one of them says. The bearer of forbidden magic. Another lifts his weapon. The Omega who raised future threats. Each word lands like a sentence already decided. The Alpha snarls, positioning himself over her, wounded now, blood dark against his fur. He is breathing hard. Surrounded. Outnumbered. Lyria sees it all in a single, shattering moment. This is what follows her. Destruction. Accusation. Loss. Her chest tightens with a grief so old it feels carved into her bones. Loving others has always come with a cost, and she has always been the one left paying it. She steps back. The Alpha twists his head toward her, eyes blazing, confusion cutting through his fury. He takes a step after her, limping. No, he growls, voice rough with something dangerously close to pleading. She shakes her head, tears burning but unshed. If she stays, they will destroy him. If she stays, the prophecy will consume everything around her. I won't ruin your life, she whispers. Then she turns and runs. The forest swallows her whole, branches tearing at her skin, darkness closing in as his voice breaks behind her, calling her name into a world already turning against her. The cave breathes quietly around her. Firelight flickers against stone, painting the walls in soft golden shadow. Lyria sits with her knees drawn to her chest, fingers numb, heart still racing from the run. Every sound outside makes her flinch. Every breath tastes like fear she hasn't learned how to let go of. She does not hear him enter. Not until the warmth shifts. She looks up, and freezes. The Alpha stands at the edge of the firelight, no armor, no weapons, his presence stripped of menace. He lowers himself slowly, deliberately, as if afraid a single wrong move might shatter her. Then he kneels. Not above her. Not in front of her. Before her. You raised us, he says. The words hit her harder than any accusation ever has. Her breath stutters. Her hands tremble. She opens her mouth, but nothing comes out, because suddenly the cave is no longer empty. Footsteps approach from the shadows. One. Then another. Then a third. 3 men step into the light, tall and broad, power coiled tight beneath their skin. Their eyes, each a different shade of gold, lock onto her with an intensity that steals the air from her lungs. Kai is first to kneel. His voice breaks when he says her name, like he's been holding it in his chest for years. Ronan follows, reaching for her hands as if afraid she'll disappear again. His touch is warm, grounding, real. Sylas stays standing for a moment longer, jaw tight, eyes shining with something fierce and unspoken. When he finally lowers himself, it is with reverence. We looked for you, Ronan whispers. We never stopped, Sylas adds. We became strong because of you, Kai says softly. Lyria's strength collapses. She sobs into their shoulders, fingers clutching fabric and skin, heart finally cracking open under the weight of relief and grief tangled together. These were once pups she carried through storms. Now they are alphas, and they are here. Too close. Too intense. The air hums between them, thick with something deeper than gratitude, heavier than reunion. When Kai brushes his thumb beneath her eye, wiping away tears, the moment tilts. When Ronan's breath ghosts across her cheek, her pulse stumbles. When Sylas steps closer, heat blooms where fear once lived. A kiss almost happens. Then another presence shifts the balance. Not interruption, but gravity. Their bond tightens, invisible and undeniable, pulling at every scar, every promise, every choice she ever made. Trust hangs between them. And for the first time in a very long while, Lyria doesn't know whether to run or stay. The council chamber reeks of old stone and colder judgment. Torches burn high along the walls, their flames steady, unforgiving, nothing like the fire clawing inside Lyria's chest. She stands in the center of the circle, shoulders squared only because collapsing would mean giving them what they want. The air presses in on her, heavy with rank and authority, thick with wolves who have already decided her fate. Then it happens. A murmur ripples through the chamber. A sharp intake of breath. The scrape of boots as someone steps closer than permitted. The mark is no longer hidden. Golden lines flare at the base of her throat, ancient and alive, glowing as if the stone itself has recognized her. Gasps turn to shouts. Reverence curdles into fear with terrifying speed. The mother of lost wolves, one council elder spits, voice shaking with rage rather than awe. She raised them, another snarls. 3 future kings. 3 threats. A traitor who births rebellion through love, a third declares. The words slice deeper than blades. Lyria's breath comes shallow. Her gaze darts to Kai, Ronan, Sylas, who move instantly, stepping in front of her as one body, teeth bared, power rolling off them in violent waves. The alpha roars, a sound that rattles the ceiling, a vow carved into sound itself. But the council does not flinch. Step aside, the High Elder commands. Or die with her. Execution is spoken like a mercy. Something inside Lyria fractures. Not loudly. Not cleanly. It breaks the way trust does. Her heartbeat stumbles, then slams hard. Heat surges through her veins, wild and panicked, no longer contained by denial or fear. The mark burns. The ground trembles. Stone cracks beneath her bare feet. No, she whispers, not to them, but to herself. Light explodes outward. Columns shatter. Torches burst. Power rips through the chamber in a blinding wave, throwing wolves back like leaves in a storm. The sound is deafening, stone screaming as it breaks, history splitting under the weight of truth denied too long. Lyria staggers, horrified by what she's done. By what she is. She sees fear on every face now, even the ones she loves. That is what finally breaks her. I can't, she gasps. I won't destroy you. Before anyone can stop her, she turns and runs. Through smoke. Through falling stone. Through the echo of her name shouted in 3 voices that tear her heart open as she flees into the night. She does not look back. Because believing she is the danger is the only thing keeping her alive. The battlefield is already breaking when Lyria feels it. Not hears it. Not sees it. Feels it, like a scream dragged straight through her bones. Steel clashes. Wolves roar. The ground is torn open by blood and fire, and at the center of it all, Kai, Ronan, and Sylas are fighting back to back, their power blazing but fraying at the edges. They are strong, stronger than any alpha should be, but strength bleeds when it's forced to stand alone. Ronan drops to one knee first. Not from fear. From exhaustion. Sylas turns too late, taking a blow meant for Kai. Kai roars, the sound raw, desperate, furious, and human in a way alphas are never supposed to be. That sound reaches Lyria from the ridge above the field. And something inside her finally stops begging. The fear doesn't vanish. It burns. She steps forward. The air thickens around her, humming, vibrating as if the world itself is holding its breath. Her heartbeat slows, not because she's calm, but because she's done running from what lives inside her. I'm done, she whispers, not to the enemy, not to the council watching in terror, but to the doubt that has caged her for decades. The golden fire surges. Her bones shift with a sound like thunder cracking open the sky. Pain flares, sharp and blinding, then dissolves into power so vast it steals the breath from every living thing nearby. Silver floods her vision. Gold streaks through it like dawn tearing apart night. When her paws hit the ground, the earth bows. A silver-gold wolf stands where Lyria once did, massive, radiant, ancient. Her fur glows with moonlight and sunfire intertwined. Her eyes burn with knowing, not rage. With choice. She moves. The enemy line shatters like glass. Each step sends shockwaves through the field. Dark shifters scatter, screaming, their courage snapping under the weight of her presence. She does not hunt blindly. She strikes with purpose. With protection. With the quiet fury of someone who has lost everything and refuses to lose again. Kai looks up first. Then Ronan. Then Sylas. Hope hits them harder than any blow. The battle ends in minutes. Silence crashes down. Lyria turns toward the council, her massive form casting a shadow that stretches over generations of fear and control. Her voice rolls out, not a roar, but a truth too big to ignore. I raised kings, she says. Not monsters. And I will not be your sacrifice. The ground trembles. Far beneath ruined stone and forgotten legends, something ancient stirs. A presence long buried inhales for the first time in centuries. The Shadow Alpha wakes. And the world shifts. Because her rise was never the end. Smoke drifts low across the ground, curling around broken weapons and fallen banners. The battlefield is quiet now, not peaceful, just stunned. The kind of silence that comes after the world realizes it almost ended. Lyria stands at the center of it all. Her glow hasn't faded yet. Silver gold light still clings to her skin like a second heartbeat, pulsing with each breath she drags into her chest. She is trembling. Not from weakness, but from everything she's holding back. Power. Grief. Love. The cost of finally becoming what she was always meant to be. Kai reaches her first. He doesn't rush. He limps, pride forgotten, eyes fixed on her like she might vanish if he blinks. Blood streaks his jaw. His hands shake when they lift, stopping just short of touching her, as if he's afraid she'll break, or he will. Lyria, his voice cracks, stripped of command and alpha authority. Stay with us. Ronan follows, slower, heavier. His armor is torn, his breathing uneven, but his gaze is steady. Grounded. He has always been the one who stood firm when everything else fell apart. Say you'll choose us, he says quietly. Not demanding. Not pleading. Just honest. After everything, don't leave again. Sylas comes last. He doesn't speak at first. He just looks at her the way he did when he was a boy hiding fear behind stubborn silence. When he finally reaches her, his forehead rests briefly against hers, a touch so soft it feels like confession. Don't walk away again, he whispers. I don't think we survive it twice. Their words sink into her like arrows she never learned how to pull out. Lyria closes her eyes. Love pulls at her, warm, aching, terrifying. Destiny presses down just as hard, heavy with prophecy and blood and futures she never asked for. She has spent her life choosing others. Protecting. Sacrificing. Enduring. Now the choice is hers. Stay, and risk burning them with her fate. Leave, and prove the world right about her being too dangerous to love. Her chest tightens. When she opens her eyes, they shine, not with certainty, but with truth. The question hangs between them, unanswered, trembling in the air like the last note of a song that refuses to fade. Would you have chosen her, or feared her too? If this story lit a fire inside you, subscribe to Moonlight Mate Stories. Because here, every tale burns beneath the moon. The forest looms around her, ancient trees swaying as if whispering secrets she has yet to understand. Moonlight spills through the branches, catching the edges of her glowing form, silver gold radiance casting long, quivering shadows across the forest floor. Every step she takes is deliberate, heavy with the weight of victory, loss, and the choices she knows she must face. The ground beneath her trembles faintly, almost imperceptibly at first, then more insistently, like the heartbeat of the world itself has shifted. Lyria senses it, a tremor not of fear but of destiny. The air tastes electric, charged with power she can feel crawling along her skin. Leaves rustle as if murmuring her name, calling her forward, urging her toward something unseen, something inevitable. And then, from the darkness between the trees, a voice slips into the night. Low. Sinuous. Ancient. It does not belong to any living creature she knows. She is not the only one. The words hang in the air, weighty and foreboding, curling around her like smoke from a fire yet unlit. Every hair on her arms rises as if acknowledging a presence older than time itself, a power older than even the legends she has lived and breathed all her life. The true Alpha hasn't risen, yet. The sentence cuts through the silence, a prophecy, a warning, a promise. Lyria halts, her chest heaving. For a moment, the glow of her power dims, not from exhaustion but contemplation, the realization that her journey is far from over. The battles she has fought, the enemies she has faced, the love she has finally allowed herself to embrace, they are only fragments of what is to come. She steps forward again, boots crunching on fallen leaves and broken twigs. Her senses are alive to every sound, every movement, every hidden threat. Yet beneath the alertness, there is determination. An unspoken vow that whatever rises, whatever darkness stirs in the shadows, she will meet it, not as an omega, not as a follower, but as the mother of lost wolves, as the fire that refuses to be snuffed out. Above her, the moon flickers again, pale and watchful, as if it knows what is coming. Somewhere beyond the trees, power stirs. Forces she cannot yet name are waking. And though she does not see them, she feels them, the weight of eyes watching, waiting, calculating. The forest seems to exhale, the wind whispering promises she cannot yet decipher. The battlefield behind her fades into memory, the light of her three kings, Kai, Ronan, Sylas, glimmers faintly, a reminder that she is not alone, yet she is still the fulcrum upon which all fates balance. Lyria moves deeper into the shadows, every step echoing a truth she has long denied: this story is far from over. The fire inside her is not quenched, only tempered by trials yet to come. Somewhere, a greater power waits, a force that will challenge her, shape her, and force the mother of lost wolves to rise even higher than she has dared dream. And in that silence, heavy and potent, the world seems to hold its breath, knowing that when the true Alpha finally awakens, the world itself will tremble in response. Fade to black.